This is the Metal Queens podcast. I'm Steve Richards, coming off their House of Blues and Metal Hall of Fame concerts. Alibis from LA with powerful vocals, catchy choruses, and face melting guitar riffs. Their unique blend of rock, pop, and anthemic background vocals puts them in a category all their own. Composed of Rainy, Kris, Cameron, together they have their listeners hooked. Their new release, Dark Side. Alibis delivers storytelling both in their music and videos, creates a level of emotion, depth, and honesty that captures your attention and keeps you connected and wanting more. The EP Damn Love came out in November, and I'm joined by Rainy here on the Metal Queens podcast. Welcome, Rainy.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
All right, let's start with how was Alibis born and what was your vision for the band? Been around a little over a year now, right?
Yeah. Um, Alibis was born, basically, I had initially was working on a solo project and it was kind of more pop stuff. I was just kind of figuring out who I was as a songwriter, not just a singer, but as a songwriter, and what kind of music I wanted to put out. I always love rock. That's like the essence of who I am, rock and metal. And so it started with me starting to kind of like really try to configure songs alone first, kind of doing some solo stuff. And then I was like, I don't think that I love the music that I did, but I feel like it wasn't totally there yet. And I was like, I really want a guitarist. I need that like huge sound, So um, I was writing songs, and I was like, okay, I got to find a guitarist. So I actually went on Vamper, which is kind of a unique little app. It's really cool actually. It connects you to other musicians,
Mm.
and I found Kris. And he was amazing. I auditioned actually a bunch of different guitarists, and he was the one that stood out of all of them because he had just like he writes melodies so well. And he just really connected to the music that I had. And it was a great marriage of ideas. And so we were really, really excited. We knew we had something. We started working together again and had something. And then we found Cameron, and I was kind of scouting out, looking for like, who are we gonna get that's an amazing guitarist, and or sorry, not guitarist, drummer. And we were looking and looking, and he had just left another band. And then it was like, oh my God, so I reached out to him, and he loved the music. And that's kind of really how Alibis was born. But it was from an idea to really express ourselves with like a dark sound that was catchy, but was also very emotional. And I feel like that's something that we, as a band, really express and try to connect to the audience is really conveying emotion, because I think that that's sometimes what we miss in rock, not always in rock music, but I feel that like the vulnerability sometimes is gone, and I think that that's an essential aspect in rock music. And so that's what we're trying to accomplish. I hope we have thus far, but we have a long way to go. But yeah.
Rainey, did you know right away when you played with Kris first time, like almost the first note? Did you connect
Oh
almost
yeah.
immediately? Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. I felt like we were just so on the same pinnacle, if that's the right word. We just knew, and it was an amazing connection. He loved the music. And another thing it was is what I really liked about him, because a lot of guitar players will come in and they want to kind of take over the whole song. You know what I
Mm.
mean? He let also my melodies shine and worked with what I already had, so that it was like a blending of two forces, as opposed to I'm gonna riff all over here and take over the whole song. And and there's moments for that too, right? But like initially I was like, oh my God. And just the melodies he wrote really complemented what I had. So yeah, like I was very excited about it. And that's when I knew I really had something, we had something very, very special, and that I feel like, yeah, I'm really excited to see where it goes. So.
What was the writing process like? And is it mainly you and Kris, or does Cameron contribute too?
Yeah, Cameron contributes now. Initially, it took a long time for us to find. Well, initially, Kris and I found Kris and we built up songs for 6 months before we ever looked for a drummer. And then we started looking for a drummer. But initially, how the songs start is I will sit down in the studio and I have to be completely alone. Only because I try to like write about things that are really difficult for me. And I think that that's like something like I force myself to be vulnerable and find like things of like, okay, why do I feel this way or whatever? And I use that as a way to write about it. And so sometimes it's emotional for me. Not sometimes, it is.
Hmm.
And and so I don't like anyone kind of seeing that because it's already difficult for me. I need to like be alone and really process myself first and like what I want to write about and what am I feeling and whatnot. So I'm alone first. I write the song usually all on the piano out first. And so like with Dark Side, that was written completely on the piano. It was not written with guitar first ever with all the songs. That's how it goes. Even the breakdown. So I don't know. I can just hear it in my head, but I don't play guitar. I play piano, you know? And so I'll write it out on the piano. But I mean, really, so when Kris comes along, though, he takes a song to another level because it's one thing. I mean, obviously, the song's written, it's on the piano, but like it's really birthing itself because you need that guitar and those huge elements to make it what Alibis is, right? So Kris comes in and he just writes these like badass melodies to what I already have. And you know all the riffs that he has and like he writes multiple guitar layers and he also writes bass. He also does all the bass as well. And then we'll sit there and we go back and forth about programming drums. Yeah, and that was how it initially started. And then I will go back in after the song. We think the song is done, and I will add all the production. So I will add all the keys. I will add all of the like little foley's and just like all the other elements of the song that like take the song to another level than just being like rock, just like those standard like bass, guitar, whatever, right? Like so I add all that production element and then yeah, that's it. That's initially how it was. And then we got Cameron and now he's starting to write with these new batch of songs, the drums. Well, he did take all the drums before after we programmed them and kind of made them his own live even in the studio. But you know, those songs were written before Cameron was in the band. So, but now with all the new songs, he's a part of the writing process. And we're like, hey, he's way quicker at programming drums than me or Kris. So, so that was actually kind of amazing. I'll be like, can you just come in here? It takes him like, if me and Kris will start programming drums and we will like, it'll take us a little bit of time, you know? But then Cameron will be like, it's funny, we were talking about this recently. He'll just come in, highlight it all, delete, and just like it takes like 30 seconds. And so yeah, it's really fun. You know, but yeah, it's a great process and I think it really works for us. But yeah, I think that's how it usually goes. So
Now,
yeah.
writing those emotional songs, you said you need to be alone for that. Is it like therapy for you?
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's so much therapy. And I have to like I guess like I just try to get dig to the core of myself and like think about things that I like normally I feel embarrassed to even talk about or embarrassed to expose in some aspect. And that I find like whether it's embarrassing or just whatever, like it's what it is. But that like kind of cutting edge what's the word topic with me I feel like becomes the best songs because it's something that like is more radical than what I would talk like what I would discuss in a conversation or whatever. But yeah, I don't need to see a therapist because I have music, so it's amazing.
Yeah.
I feel like we all need a therapist, but you know, yeah,
The
so
healing power of music. Yes.
absolutely. It's so healing. So
So you're a native of what, Orange County, California?
I am, yes,
You
California.
had a classical upbringing studying opera And I
Yeah.
can relate to this classical piano. My grandmother was a concert pianist
Oh,
and
wow.
brought up
Okay.
in the theater too. What was that like? So who was the classical person? Father, mother?
Actually, no one. That's what's kind of shocking in my
Mm.
family. There's no singers there. My mom wanted to be a dancer and she danced for a while, but but she didn't end up doing that later in life. She had kids and whatever. Which I'm grateful she had me. Uh, but no, there's no singers, there's no musical people at all. My mom actually got me into opera because I started doing theater. Yeah, so I studied opera, but first what happened is I started doing theater very, very young, and my mom realized I was so good at it. And I say that with humility, but I'm very expressive. I loved being on the stage. I loved and I still do. So I'm very theatrical. I went to school for musical theater as well. But so I started getting cast in a lot of professional theater in LA, at the Amundsen and at Mark Taper Forum. And so I started becoming in the union very young, and my mom was like, "Oh my God, okay." And when I was, well, let me go back really quickly. When I was very young, before even the theater stuff happened, I told my mom I wanted to sing, and she was like, "Why? Like you're in dance." And at that point, I didn't really show that I had a voice. I
Mm.
mean, I was very young, it must have not have been developed yet or whatever it was. But she was like, "But why? You're in dance, you're in ice skating, you're in, a million things. Like, why do you want to sing now?" It wasn't out of her being mean. She just didn't really understand it because nobody's sang, and she didn't really think that I would have a voice. And so I was like, I don't know. I just really wanted to. And she told me, if you win this singing competition, I will get you voice lessons. And she thought she would get out of it because, when kids are young, you're in a million things. Um, so I think I was 9 at the time and I won.
Mm.
I think I sang The Little Mermaid, and she was shocked and she was like, "Oh my God, okay, I gotta get her voice lessons." And there was a girl that won in the older category, and my mom found her. She was like, "Who's your singing teacher?" And my mom got her singing teacher's name, and that led to me learning opera because that specific teacher that I had for 20 years was an opera singer who also taught musical theater, but she taught me classical. And that I am so grateful, honestly. I did tons of opera competitions, tons. I did tons of opera. I did opera shows. I did a lot of it. I love opera. But I'm very, very radical and wild, and I need to self-express first. So I went a different direction, but I can still sing it. So at a later date, maybe I will. I don't know. So
All right,
yeah.
Rainey, you said you love being on the stage, so let's talk about touring plans for this
Okay.
year for
Yes. Yeah.
Alibis. What are
Yeah.
they?
Okay, so we have some dates in May. I can't give out the specific dates yet just because there's a couple that are working out with a band called Soul Sign, which is really a great band. And then we have other dates in July with Crash Karma, really cool metal duo, female and male. They're awesome. So we're like really excited to play with them. That's going to be super badass. I believe it goes from here to NorCal and then I think a little past that and back. And then we're going to be doing a month tour over in September-esque time with Miles Schoen and Will Champlin, who believe he was the singer, second runner or runner up on The Voice, and they have some like badass rock music, which we're like really excited to tour with them too. I mean, they're really, really cool. Plus, I think he's the singer or the son of Journey, of the singer, or I'm sorry, yeah, the singer of Journey, Neil Schon. Yeah. So
Yeah.
I could be, yeah, so that's a big one for us. And we're really excited about that too. I hope I got all that right. Um, and we couldn't have gotten all those without our amazing manager. We recently also got a new manager, Frankie James, and he is badass. He has been taking us new levels ever since he found us at Metal Hall of Fame and was just like mind blown. And we are so grateful for him and him really taking us under his wing and showing us the ropes and taking us to the next level. That's what we really want. So
So the second set of tour dates, is that all West Coast too?
yeah, so it's California, NorCal, and then the second one as well, yes. And then the one in September is gonna, I believe, is gonna be going to Utah, Washington, and Oregon as well. And then it starts in NorCal, but then it goes to also those again to like Utah, Oregon, all of those places. So the dates are still being worked out. We're working out with the other band, but yeah, I'm those are supposed to be where we're going. So I'm very excited.
All right, Alibis tour
Yeah.
dates coming. All right, we're going to wrap up here, Rainey,
Yes.
with five
Yeah.
questions for Rainey. And I'm going to start. The
Okay.
first one's going to be an appropriate one for you. Favorite
Okay.
opera of all time?
Orfeo and Euridice.
Mm,
It's a great opera. They actually even made a musical of it called Hades Town. I sang a lot of Euridice's songs, so one of my favorites.
favorite
Yes.
cocktail?
Vodka soda
Mm.
with a
Dr-
lime.
with a lime. Yes.
Yeah.
Dream collaboration.
Oh my God, with Matt Bellamy from Muse.
Mm.
I think he's also a classically trained musician, and I have a lot of respect for him. So, yeah.
First concert you ever went to? First rock show?
God, first rock show. Oh my God, I actually don't know. Hold on, no one's asked me that, and I should know this, but I don't know. I think it was, oh my God, I think it was maybe either garbage or no doubt, I think. uh I don't know, I don't remember, but I'm gonna get back to you on that, but I definitely should know this, but yeah, I know it was a female.
All right, and favorite female vocalist of all time?
Female vocalist, I would say I love Amy Lee a lot from
Mm.
Evanescence. I think her voice is kind of similar to mine too. um and I think she's super talented and the music's beautiful, so yeah.
All right. The
Absolutely.
EP out now is Damn Love. It came out back in the fall. They've got tour dates coming up, Alibis. Alibismusic.com is the website. Follow them on social too.
Yes.
Instagram, alibis_official.
Yes,
Rainy,
yeah. Yes.
thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you very much for having me. Appreciate it so much. It's been a lot of fun.
Thank you. Same here.
Yes.
And this is the Metal Queens podcast. Like it, share it, and subscribe to it too. I'm Steve Richards.